99.1 FM.
You're tuned into Glow 99.1. You're all for the best in music, news, entertainment,
It's not easy to be beautiful. To practice my
and more. Broadcasting live from Akure City. This is GLOW 99.1 FM. Always here, always on. Bringing you closer to the sounds you love. Stay tuned.
It's a lovely Monday morning. Good morning, Akure City, the capital of Ondo State. Welcome to Issues and the Dailies, live on Glow 99.1 FM. Today being the 22nd day of the 9th month of the year, September 2025. We hope that you work on the right side of the bed. This is our newspaper review program coming to you from Glow 99.1 FM. And of course, we would read headline stories. It will be followed by analytical session with our analysts who would call in. Right after that, you can put your hands on any of the studio lines to bear your thoughts on any of the stories read. My name is Mike Alim Obafemi. Reading with me this morning
Comfort Omolafe is my name.
All right. I hope you were not touched by the rain because it's a raining thing in Akure this morning.
Not at all.
All right, that's not bad. All right, we'll first take the first round of headlines. Right after that, we'll read the detail of the stories. Please stay with us. Now to the first rounds of headlines from the national tabloids. EBAS rejects Assembly's move to probe 6 months spending.
All right, joining you on Punch newspaper this morning, crude supply to domestic refineries hits 67.6 million barrels. That's coming from federal government.
And 2027 APC opposition least expectations for next INEC chairman.
Bulk fuel buyers dump middlemen for direct Dangote supply.
All right, crude supply to domestic refineries hits 67.6 million barrels. That's according to federal government.
All right, still taking headlines from Punch newspaper this morning. Tinubu Wike for editors conference in Abuja.
All right, to the Daily Post newspaper to bring you some of the headlines there. 2027 concerns mount in Nigeria over early election campaigns.
Military arrests 17 oil thieves, destroy 9 illegal refineries.
All right, on the Remi Tinubu, we are finished. Peter Obi cries out over First Lady's birthday request.
Provide names of 330 billion naira beneficiaries. Header tells federal government.
Right, Tinubu's administration full-blown dictatorship according to Atiku.
Moving straight to Daily Post newspaper, 2027 concern mount in Nigeria over early election campaigns.
All right, Natasha's trial for alleged cyber crime against Akpabio Yaya Bello begins September 22nd. That is today.
EBAS must account for Rivers money that's coming from Akure bricks.
All right, if you kill 10 of us, 20 will emerge. Bandits leader warns Nigerian army, others.
Still on Akure bricks, not all Rivers people are grateful to Tinubu.
And in Ondo State this morning, Ondo workers demand a 256,000 naira minimum wage.
Nigerian troops arrest suspect, seize illegal petroleum products in Niger Delta.
INEC democracy under threat. ADC as party heads to court over David Mark and others.
On the Nation newspaper, demolition threats spark disputes, legal battles in Ogun.
All right, so now to the Vanguard newspaper. We've also got stories there. Benue ambush, 16 security operatives are found dead, others missing.
Food prices decline amid erratic market trends.
All right, so no Nigerian dead or alive can say, I told them I wanted third time Obasanjo.
Details of the stories and more will be coming your way on issues in the dailies right here on Glow 99.1 FM Major State Akure. Please stay tuned.
All right, starting off from the Punch newspaper this morning, a general election ahead. APC opposition leads expectation for next INEC chair as the 2027 general elections approaches. On the All Progressive Congress APC, People's Democratic Party PDP, African Democratic Congress ADC have outlined key expectations for the incoming chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC, emphasizing credibility, neutrality, and commitment to democratic principles. In an exclusive interview with Punch newspaper, the APC urged the incoming INEC chair to guarantee a fair and equal opportunity for all political parties, while the PDP emphasized the need for the commission's head to remain neutral and autonomous. On its part, the ADC warned that failure to conduct credible elections under the new leadership could pose a threat to the country's democratic stability. The current INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, is set to complete his tenure by November this year. Appointed in 2015 and reappointed in 2020, Yakubu holds the distinction of being the longest-serving chairman in the history of Nigeria's Electoral Commission. According to the section 154(1) of the amended 1999 Constitution, and of course there are many paragraphs for you to read there to confirm his status. Read for more from Punch newspaper.
All right, beginning from Punch newspaper as well. Bulk fuel buyers dump middlemen for direct Dangote supply. As a Dangote refinery launched its direct fuel distribution scheme, bulk fuel consumers and filling stations are dumping their middlemen suppliers for Dangote's free delivery. The president of the National Association of Road Transport Owners, Yusuf Osman, said during a popular program on a popular television, Osman condemned the free delivery of fuel to filling stations, telecom companies, and other bulk users. He said buyers have now jettisoned the contract signed with these members to receive free delivery from Dangote. The NATO president explained that his members have up to 30,000 trucks and cannot do business or fuel distribution free of charge. Some are even informal agreements, he said in quote, but we have formal agreements signed, and by that we use this formal agreement to collect bank facilities to buy trucks and serve those companies. But now those agreements are at stake because a big brother is coming to supply directly to them, not minding the fact that they have signed agreements with us. It's still very much in court, but for detail of the story, look it up on Punch newspaper with the headline, Bulk Fuel Buyers Dump Middlemen for Direct Dangote Supply.
All right, so now let's go to River State from Punch newspaper. IBAS rejects Assembly's move to probe 6 months spending. The immediate past, River State Administrator Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas retired, and the River State House of Assembly may be gearing up for a showdown following the latter's decision to probe the state's expenditure over the last few months under the former. Ibas ceased to be the administrator of the oil-rich state since September 17 this year, following the end of a 6-month emergency rule, after President Bola Tinubu directed the suspended State Governor Siminalayi Fubara and Deputy and the State House of Assembly members to return to office from the previous Thursday. The Rivers House of Assembly, presided over by the Speaker Martin Zamarule, during its plenary after the end of the emergency rule, said it would investigate the state expenditure during the 6 months of emergency rule. And according to the resolution of the House, to explore the process of knowing what transpired during the emergency rule with regards to spending from the Consolidated Revenue Fund for the awards of contract and other expenditure. Read for more from Punch newspaper.
Moving straight to Vanguard newspaper in a related development in Rivers people deserve to know agreement between Tinubu Fubara. That's coming from Akure Briggs. Niger Delta right activist Akure Briggs has demanded transparency on the terms of agreement reached between Governor Siminalayi Fubara and President Bola Tinubu before the end of the 6-month emergency rule in Rivers State. Speaking on popular television, Briggs argued that the people of the state had the right to know what was agreed behind closed doors, warning that silence could erode the governor's credibility. In quote, "We are the people who have paid the greatest price in all of those things, and to not be aware of the decision which will affect us, and therefore we can't gauge the extent to which these decisions will affect us. It becomes very difficult to flow with the politicians." End of quote. According to her, withholding details of the pact was unacceptable to people from the riverine area of the state where Fubara hails from. Briggs also joined calls for Rear Admiral Ibogite Ibas, retired, who serves as the state's sole administrator during the emergency period, to account for public funds spent under his watch. Find the story was written twice. Vanguard newspaper has it, with the headline, "Rivers people deserve to do agreement between Tinubu, Fubara." That's coming from Ann Kiyobri.
All right, Daily Post has this one. Tinubu's administration, full-blown dictatorship, Atiku speaks. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has once again criticized the administration of President Bola Tinubu. Atiku made this statement in a post on his verified X handle on Sunday. According to him, the Tinubu-led APC administration poses the greatest risk to Nigeria's democracy since the return of democratic governance. The 2023 presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, also alleged that the administration has turned into a full-blown dictatorship. He made the remarks during a solidarity visit to former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai on Sunday. You'd read for more from Daily Post newspaper.
All right, back to Punch newspaper. Tinubu Wike for Editors Conference in Abuja. The Nigerian Guild of Editors is set to discuss democratic governance and national cohesion, the role of editors at its 2025 All Nigerian Editors Conference from November the 3rd through November the 6th, 2025 at the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. According to a press statement on Sunday by the NGE President and General Secretary Eze Anaba and Onoha Uke, respectively, the annual conference, which will be declared open by President Bola Tinubu, has a sub-theme: electoral integrity and trust deficit, what Nigerians expect in 2027. The Sunday statement said the conference would examine the role of editors in promoting democratic governance and national cohesion. The Guild added that the conference would discuss challenges and opportunities facing editors in promoting democratic values and national cohesion. Further story was written again. Punch newspaper has it, with the headline, "Tinubu Wike for Editors Conference in Abuja."
All right, still reading from Daily Post newspaper on 2027 concerns mount in Nigeria over early election campaigns. Almost 2 years to the next presidential election in Nigeria, there is heightened political activities across the country. This is as individuals and political parties are seen already campaigning in violation of the Electoral Act, which explicitly stated that campaigns of any kind are not allowed until 150 days before the election. Many Nigerians are worried that political parties and leaders have abandoned governance and channeled all their energies to campaign ahead of next general election. To make the matters worse, the electoral body, that is the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, charged with the constitutional responsibility to regulate activities of political parties. In this regard, is not doing anything. The same thing applies to the police, whose constitutional mandate includes arrest and to persecute those who break the laws of the land. The police are also looking away from the impunity. The INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, had last week raised the alarm that the political parties have already kicked off subtle campaigns despite clear provisions that restricted such activities to 150 days before election. He cited Section 94(1) of the Electoral Act of 2022, which clearly prohibits commencement of campaigns earlier than the day stipulated. However, he lamented that political actors often disregarded this provision. Read for more from Daily Post newspaper.
All right, joining you on Daily Post newspaper this morning with this particular headline: we are finished. Peter Obi fought Remi Tinubu's birthday donation request. Former presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has criticized First Lady Oluremi Tinubu's request that birthday well wishes donate towards completing the National Library in Abuja, describing it as an indictment of Nigeria's leadership priorities. In a post on his X account on Sunday, Obi said while the First Lady's appeal was noble and selfless on the surface, it exposed the failure of government to fulfill its responsibilities. In quote, I join millions of Nigerians in wishing Our Excellency, Mrs. Oluremi Tinubu, a happy birthday. May God Almighty, who has been with us all these years, grant her many more healthy, fruitful, and happy years. However, I was struck by irony reading our request that instead of cakes or newspaper advert, well wishers should donate towards completing the National Library in Abuja. End of quote. Obi argued that the nation should not rely on charity to build a very temple of knowledge, while its leaders spend lavishly on luxuries. That's how much I can take. For detail of the story, Vanguard newspaper has it with the headline: we are finished. Peter Obi fought Remi Tinubu's birthday donation request.
Alright, so Daily Trust has this one. Natasha, NLC President Jero knocked over strike threat. Civil Society Coalition for the Defense of Democracy in Nigeria has flayed the national president of the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, Comrade Joe Ajero, over his threat to embark on strike if the suspended senator representing Kogi Central Senatorial District in the National Assembly, Senator Natasha Akure, is not recalled. The coalition, in a press statement at the weekend in Abuja by its spokesperson Peter Nwokolo, described such a threat to embark on an indefinite strike as an assault on democracy and undue interference on judiciary's role of adjudication, adding that the judiciary should be allowed to determine the matter. It condemned the NLC's president's partisanship in the matter, urging him to channel his energy in addressing serious national issues of hunger, insecurity, as well as the welfare of Nigerian workers. Read for more from Daily Trust.
All right, back to the pages of Punch newspaper this morning on the business scene. Crude supply to domestic refineries 867.6 million barrels. That according to federal government. The federal government has disclosed that a total of 67,000 over 8 barrels of crude oil was supplied to local refiners for processing between January and August 2025. This figure confirmed by the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission highlights ongoing challenges in bridging the crude allocation gap facing indigenous refineries despite Nigeria's rising production levels. Speaking in Abuja on Sunday, the head of Media and Strategic Communications at the NUPRC, Eniola Akinkotu, said the crude allocation was made in line with the Petroleum Industry Act 2021 and the Domestic Crude Supply Obligation Policy. According to him, the barrels were delivered to both modular and state-owned refining facilities, including Watersmiths. All right, I think that's how much I can take. I would not like to mention the names of the companies. If you want to know more, look it up in Punch newspaper. With the headline, crude supply to domestic refineries 867.6 million barrels. That's from federal government.
Right, Natasha's trial for alleged cybercrime against Akmabio Yaya Bello begins September 22nd, which is today. The trial of Kogi Central Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan on alleged cybercrime against the president of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, and former governor of Kogi State, Yaya Bello, will commence today at the Federal High Court in Abuja. The trial on a 6-count criminal charge is being coordinated by the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation, AGF, and Minister of Justice. Natasha, suspended from the Senate 6 months ago over a large breach of Senate's rule, was arraigned in court on June 30th this year when charges were read to her and she pleaded not guilty. Justice Muhammad Umar is on the case over the trial of the Director of Public Prosecution of the Federation, DPPF, Mohammed Babadoko Abubakar, built to lead the prosecution for the federal government. A professor of law, Roland Otaru SAN, is expected to lead the defense team for the suspended Kogi Central Senator. You'll read for more from Daily Post newspaper.
All right, moving straight to the Nation newspaper this morning. CJN to swear in 57 new SANs September 29th. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN Justice Kudirat Kekereakun, was swearing 57 new senior advocates of Nigeria, SANs, on September the 29th. As part of activities marking the commencement of the Supreme Court 2025-2026 legal year, the Apex Court Director of Information and Public Relations, Dr. Festus Akonde, announced this in a statement yesterday in Abuja. The statement reads in High Court: in line with our age-long tradition, during the special court session, the Chief Justice of Nigeria will deliver a State of the Judiciary address with a view to highlighting the performance of the Supreme Court in particular and the Nigerian judiciary in general in the 2024-2025 legal year. In the same vein, other leading stakeholders in the justice sector will present speeches bordering on the state of the sector. That's how much I can take. Want to know so much about the story? The Nation newspaper has it with the headline: CJN to swear in 57 new SANs September the 29th.
All right, so now let's go to some, before some security matters, there is a story about workers in Ondo State making demands. Right, the Ondo workers demand the 256,000 minimum wage. Workers in Ondo State have demanded that the 73,000 naira minimum wage in the state be immediately reviewed upward to 256,950 naira. The workers, in a letter addressed to Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa through the State Council of the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) and its affiliate unions, said the demand became imperative going by the economic situation in the country, while stressing that the current wage is no longer realistic. The workers maintained that with the removal of the fuel subsidy, inflation, and skyrocketing cost of food, transportation, housing, and healthcare, there is urgent need for its review. The letter was signed by NLC Chairman in the State, Comrade Ademola Olakpade, and the State Secretary, Comrade Aki Sunday. And the workers urged the governor to urgently constitute a negotiation committee. Read for more from the Daily Post.
All right, moving straight to this day newspaper, we have this particular story. Tinubu may transform to Paul Biya if voted in 2027. That's coming from El Rufai. Former Kaduna State Governor Malam Nasser El Rufai has warned that President Bola Tinubu may transform into a full dictator, adopting the administrative style of Cameroonian leader Paul Biya if allowed to stay beyond 2027. El Rufai made the remarks over the weekend when he received former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, who paid him solidarity visit following a recent attack on him by suspected APC-sponsored thugs in court during the inauguration of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, in Kaduna State. Sharing an insight into what transpired in Kaduna, El Rufai described the Tinubu government as, in quotes, okay, I won't take that, accusing it of centralizing power rather than deepening federalism. In court again, honestly, sir, to me, it is even okay for people to behave the way they are behaving. It means that all the years of saying that we are for democracy and Nadeko, all the claims that we are fighting for true federalism and so on, it was all a pretense, all fake again, because the government, Tinubu's administration, is trying to centralize everything instead of devolving power to the lower levels. End of quote. He further warned that if Nigerians do not unite to end Tinubu's administration at the polls in 2027, the president might attempt to perpetuate himself in power like Cameroon's President Paul Biya. For detail of this story, look it up on This Day newspaper with the headline, Tinubu may transform to Paul Biya if voted in 2027. That's coming from El Rufai.
Alright, from Vanguard newspaper, no Nigerian dead or alive can say I told them I wanted third term. That's coming from former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo has refuted long-standing claims that he attempted to extend his presidency beyond 2 terms, insisting he never sought such a move. Obasanjo made the remarks on Wednesday during the democracy dialogue hosted by Goodluck Jonathan Foundation in Accra, Ghana. He stressed that no evidence exists to back the speculation. Read for more from the Vanguard newspaper.
All right, moving on to Nigerian Tribune this morning. Life President Tinubu won't rule beyond May 2031. Presidency assures Nigerians. The presidency, through the special advisor on information and strategy to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has dismissed speculations by former Kaduna State Governor Nasser El-Rufai suggesting that the president plans to remain in power indefinitely. El-Rufai, who has recently made what the presidency described as unfounded claims about the president, alleged that Tinubu intends to become a life president after the 2027 elections. In a statement late Sunday, the presidency said the claim was baseless, adding that El-Rufai appeared unsettled by the massive support the president continues to enjoy, particularly in the north. According to the statement in court, Tinubu is a Democrat who has no plan to rule the country beyond 2031. The statement reads fully, and I quote, shortly. Former Kaduna State Governor Nasser El-Rufai appears to need some help, especially given his recent unfounded claims and speculations about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It is increasingly evident that El-Rufai has recognized the futility of attempts by his associates in his new party to prevent President Tinubu's likely re-election in 2027. This plot is proving to be unattainable, a mission doomed to fail. That's how much I can take. For detail of this story, look it up on Nigerian Tribune with the headline, Life President Tinubu won't rule Nigeria beyond May 2031. Presidency assures Nigerians.
All right, now let's go to security. And in Ekiti State condemns health workers' assault. Ekiti State government on Sunday condemned the assault on workers of Ekiti State University Teaching Hospital and warned against recurrence of attacks on health workers in the state. Health Commissioner Dr. Oyebanji Filani threatened sanction for any act of violence against health workers. Filani, in a statement in Ado-Ekiti, spoke against the backdrop of Friday's incident at Exud, where some accident victims, while receiving care, reportedly became violent and physically assaulted health workers. All right, the commissioner appealed to residents of the state to remain calm and seek appropriate redress for grievances through lawful and civil channel. Read for more from Punch newspaper.
All right, moving straight to the Guardian newspaper. Serap Amnesty give Tinubu 7 days to drop cybercrime defamation charges against Shuwore, ex-Facebook. The Socioeconomic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, and Amnesty International have given President Bola Tinubu 7 days to instruct the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, to immediately withdraw the cybercrime and defamation charges filed against activist Omoyele Shuwore, as well as against the owners of X, formerly Twitter, and Facebook over Shuwore's alleged critical posts about the president on the platforms. SERAP and Amnesty International urge him to direct the Department of State Services, DSS, and other security and law enforcement agencies to immediately stop misusing the judicial processes to silence public criticisms and violate Nigerians' right through the use of strategic lawsuits against public participation, SLAPs, or similar forms of harassment. Serap and Amnesty International also urged him to direct Mr. Fagbemi to urgently prepare an anti-SLAPP SLAP legislation for the National Assembly to protect Nigerians from the weaponization of the justice system by the DSS and other security and law enforcement agencies, and to safeguard the right to freedom of expression. Find the story worth reading again. The Guardian newspaper has detail with the headline, Serap Amnesty give Tinubu 7 days to drop cybercrime defamation charges against Showore x Facebook.
All right, here's my interest. The public from the Punch newspaper provide names of 330 billion naira beneficiaries. Header tells federal government. The Human Rights and Environmental Development Agency, HEDA Resource, has urged the federal government to publish a full list of beneficiaries and provide a detailed breakdown of the 330 billion naira reportedly disbursed to poor Nigerians through the National Social Safety Net Coordinating Office. The call followed a recent disclosure by the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edu, who announced that the federal government has begun cash transfers funded by an $800 million World Bank facility to cushion the effect of economic hardship. In a statement on Sunday signed by HEDA Chairman Olarewaju Suraju, the group acknowledged the need for social protection amid rising inflation and the removal of food subsidy, but faulted the government for failing to provide the clarity and openness expected in managing public resources. Suraju said the federal government's claim of paying 330 billion naira raises more questions than answers. Read for more from the Punch newspaper.
All right, back to Daily Post newspaper. 2027 Forum launches nationwide crusade for power rotation. Ahead of the 2027 general elections, a political advocacy group, the South North Progressive Forum, SNPF, has embarked on a nationwide campaign for power rotation. The forum is demanding that the presidency be officially zoned to the southern part of Nigeria to correct a historic power imbalance and foster national unity. Addressing journalists in Abuja on Sunday, chairman of the SNPF, Comrade Festus Onyekulisi, articulated the group's mission, presenting a data-driven case for equitable power rotation between the North and South. The SNPF is also calling on the National Assembly to enact laws formalizing power rotation for elective positions. The group is equally urging all political parties, including the African Democratic Congress, ADC, which is yet to zone its presidential ticket, to embrace zoning to the South in 2027 for the sake of national stability. Find the story worth reading again. Daily Post newspaper has it with the headline 2027 Forum launches nationwide crusade for power rotation.
All right, just a few headlines before we flip the page this morning on security matters. All right, bandits kingpin to security operatives kill 10 of us. 20 will emerge as Katsina local government signs a peace deal with bandits. All right, Benue ambush 16 operatives, feared dead, others missing. That's in Vanguard newspaper as well. Police arrest 6 suspects. All right, you have any headline there?
I think that's how much we can take on the first segment of issues in the dailies. And the second segment is where we get to join our analysts to help us dissect some of these issues that have been read out to your hearing this morning. While you be on standby to react in the last segment, please stay tuned.
All right, these are the lines you could call right after analyst 0805 551 1110
or 0706 677 1822.
All right, so we now have with us Dr. Shagun Akure. Good morning, sir, and thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Good morning, Nigeria. It's my pleasure to be on the program again this morning.
All right, let's look at a few issues this morning, and of course,
yes, very quickly, Dr. Akere, it's a beautiful Monday morning, and then we have this issue. El Rufai has come out to say that President Tinubu may transform to Paul Biya if voted in 2027. He's saying that he might transform into a full dictator, adopting the administration style of Cameroonian leader Paul Biya if allowed to stay beyond 2027. What's your take on this, especially coming from someone like El Rufai?
Oh, honestly, outside the facts that El Rufai have the right of opinion, and I would have said that I still need to comment on something like that, because to me, I believe, one, it's impossible, and secondly, that cannot happen in Nigeria. And secondly, there is nothing to show, or there is no empirical evidence that point to the fact that Tinubu, if he, for whatever reason, managed to win in 2027, will want to come back president in Nigeria. I don't think that will happen.
all right. Now let's look at this particular story. Is quite important as well. On 2027 general election, APC, PDP, ADC have outlined their expectations, for, the next general election, including who becomes the next INEC chairman. With the man in charge now, Yakubu, was appointed 2015 and reappointed 2020, and he's about, the longest man to have served as the head of the electoral umpire. The parties are warning that failure to conduct credible elections could put Nigeria's democracy under threat, while the other party, that's ADC, the APC have equally urged the incoming national chairman to guarantee a fair and equal opportunity for all parties. Could this be achievable? And where do you think the next chairman could be coming from that could bring in some image of fairness? Or do you think no matter where he comes from, as long as he's Nigerian, he'll be able to do his job?
I believe whoever is coming from, he should be able to do his job. However, I also want to say that there must be fairness in appointment. There must be purity of purpose. There must be equity and fairness in appointing whichever is going to be the INEC chairman. And honestly, I believe the presidency and all the stakeholders involved should be very careful in scrutinizing and in ensuring that the person who is going to be the chairman of INEC is somebody of impeccable character, of high integrity, and it's not a political partisan politician or political party, or somebody who has a sympathy for any political party. It should be natural, and should be impartial. I think those things are very, very important to ensure credibility of our election, and also the respect that the government that we elected through or under such an empire will be. So unless and except that is done, Nigeria will continue to have reason to doubt the sincerity of the government.
All right.
Thank you very much. Yes, we have this particular one on the business scene here, and as the Dangote refinery launches its direct fuel distribution scheme, bulk fuel consumers and filling stations are dumping their middlemen suppliers for Dangote's free delivery. Now, the president of the National Association of Road Transport Owners, Yusuf Osman, has come out to say that he has come out to condemn the free delivery of fuel to filling stations, telecom companies and other bulk users, saying that buyers have not jettisoned the contract signed with them, with their members, to receive free delivery from Dangote. He explained that, his members have up to 30,000 trucks, and cannot do the business of fuel distribution free of charge. Now, in essence, or in a nutshell, he's trying to say that Dangote has come out to spoil business for him, and Dangote is doing it free. What's your take on this?
That is just the truth. That is just the truth. However, I've always said it. There's no way you make a road in the forest without disturbing some existing trees. either valuable, invaluable, or whatever, definitely have to of something. However, in the affairs of men, men have learned or should learn how to adopt any situation to their benefit and advantage. But I believe that there is room for negotiation, there is room for conversation, there is room for uh, going back to the job or getting some new approach settled. Honestly, the truth is, if Dangote is coming with his plan, and definitely a lot of people will be affected, a lot of jobs will be cut, a lot of new jobs will also be taken. So what I'm saying in essence is that they should find a way of, if at once, incorporating their services into Dangote will be the great step, so that at least everybody will continue to peace and that the peace of the sector.
All right, although the network is not too friendly, let me quickly add this. Don't you think that what Dangote refinery has come out to do, Dangote himself, is for the benefit of Nigerians? I mean, they should go back to their drawing board, what's it called, National Association of Road Transport Owners. They should go back to their drawing board and renegotiate among themselves so that we Nigerians can enjoy, because now it's just whatever they do now is going to be at the detriment of Nigerians. I mean, what Dangote is doing is for our own benefits.
Yeah, I quite agree with you, but don't forget that those people too, Nigerians, and their welfare and well-being also is very important. I was not going to say this initially, but if you brought this question up, I think they can also approach the court and make the court, and those parties that have abandoned their contract, and seek redress in court. It's one of the ways civilization works. But all the same, I still believe that it's not only Dangote that have been issued refining license in Nigeria. They should work with those people or other modular refiners and also see the way they can key into that system. It's not every one of them that are ready to free delivery of a product. NNPC should also be worked upon to ensure that the other refineries under the control of NNPC also are working and others. So by so doing, I think they have something to use their strong form.
All right, before we let you go, there is a disturbing headline this morning from the Vanguard newspaper. Bandit Kingpin is telling security operatives that if they kill 10 of them, 20 will emerge. And, Katsina, a local government, have actually signed a peace deal. In a democratic setting, a notorious bandit leader, Kachala Umaru, is warning security operatives that if they kill some, others will emerge.
Yeah, it's very disturbing. Honestly, very, very disturbing. And I think that it's a kind of direct challenge to security, especially for them to go after all these. See, I always say one thing: the best approach to security problem is not to try to trace the perpetrators, the actors, but the best approach is to remove their head. So if they can get all these ones that are making noise, that are bragging, and deal with them decisively, others will not emerge. But once the leaders are continuing to live large and give this false impression that they are bigger than the state and security network and agency, then the problem continues to pass. They should go after the leaders of these terrorists and remove them. That's really better.
All right. Thank you very much for speaking to us this morning, Dr. Shagun Akere.
It's my pleasure again to be here. Thank you so very much for the opportunity. Have a blessed week ahead, and we God continue to bless Nigeria.
Amen. To have a great day too. 0805551110 or 0706677182 are the numbers to call to be part of the conversation this morning. And you can also drop your WhatsApp text messages or chats, to that same number. And we have a particular message on WhatsApp here, and this is coming from Benson Oluwagbemiga from Enyakwata, Akure. He said, I totally agree with the openness of the agreement reached between Tinubu, Wike and Fubara. And Kyo Briggs is somebody I know that is always outspoken when issues are being discussed, she does not hide her feelings. Thank you very much, Benson Oluwagbumiga from Enyapata. Keep your messages or chats coming in at 080555111, and you can also call us directly through the numbers.
All right, you can equally call 0706-677-1822. We've read, so many headlines and stories this morning. Any one of them could actually interest you. And equally in world of sports, PSG players are saying that they might actually not attend the Ballon d'Or ceremony. Maybe they have an impression that, one of theirs might not win. People boycott events when they feel like they don't have a stake there. And equally, we should commend our own Toby Amuson for, emerging winner.
Second.
Second.
Yes, she got silver.
And keeping, up to a pace with winnings and all that. And I think that was the only medal that we got in the, World Championship.
When this, I'm sorry we're delving into sports, but when it happened,
part of it.
Yes, because we're just wondering, where are the men? Where are the men?
The men are here busy saving the country.
Where are the men?
They are fighting bandits in the forest.
Don't go there, Alim. All right, so women are there, changing the narrative. We are there.
But honestly, we have to commend women.
Most definitely. And of course, Toby Amuson, thank you very much for doing a great job. Despite emerging second, she was so happy. Super excited. Even more than the person who emerged first. So that's the spirit. That's the winning spirit.
Success and victory to everyone, differs. Some it's going there, some it's getting a medal, some it's repping their family members' names and equally their country. So, but one way or the other, you should just, celebrate success.
And to those who have the zeal, who have the talent to do all of those things, which we probably wish, yes, because we should actually have probably that the federal government could do something to support them. If you see anyone who has a talent who could do something, why not rally around the person and support them? There was a time somebody posted on social, I don't want to mention the name, like, look at the jersey they gave us, look at the shot, I don't know if you saw it on social media that they gave us. All right, and then this particular issue, while we are waiting your call, 0805-551-1110 or
0706-677-1822.
Those are the two numbers to call to be part of the conversation. I was supposed to ask the analyst this question, but our time was fast spent, in a segment. When Peter will come out to say that he has come out to fold the Remi Tinubu's birthday request, donation request, saying that we are finished. I really, as a person, do not see anything, too bad in this. But hey, Peter Obi has come out. Is this part of the plan? If you are not in government, you have to criticize the government because you wanted to be there. You're not there, and the next thing you are doing is to criticize the government. Coming out to say that instead of giving me money, instead of buying all the cakes, instead of all the dambori and all that, why not, contribute to the nation building by contributing to the National Library, completing, and then somebody's coming out to say, well, I hope this fine
you both are speaking from a different angle.
Nigerians on the right side, because
I know more.
And I also wish that they can elongate the time of this program, probably give us our segment. So Alim can give his take, I can give my own take, all these issues, just like it's on in a public.
Let's leave that to the analysts.
Because these things need to be addressed, and we hope that the needful is done.
All right, it's time to go, and we hope that, you make the best of this, Monday. Why? Because in one way or the other, we are Nigerians, and one of the best things we could do is to uphold a very good standard almost everywhere we go. Big shout out to our own home girl. I'm talking about Toby Amuson for making us proud. My name is Mike Alim Obafemi. Join me later today by 2 p.m. for Radio Lounge. Bye for now.
And I am Comfort Omolafe. Thank you very much for being part of A Word of Sound. Until tomorrow, keep listening to Glow FM. Good morning.